Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Bitcoin is pumping back in the green, up 1,400 on the day. Make some noise for that. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as we do each and every day, as well as breaking news. Bitwise files with the SEC for a Bitcoin and Treasuries rotation ETF. I'll be breaking this down for you, as well as Bitcoin analysis sees the Bitcoin price gains on Coinbase Premium, Golden Cross. We'll also be discussing buying this dip is a no-brainer, according to this major hedge fund manager, as well as breaking news. The IMF pressures El Salvador to overhaul Bitcoin regulations. That's right. According to the IMF, El Salvador has an annual GDP growth rate of 3% and roughly 144 million in outstanding loans. I'll be breaking this down for you. We'll also be discussing Bukele advising Argentine vice president on Bitcoin and volcano bonds. Let's freaking go. Quoting Bukele, the IMF, World Bank, Federal Reserve, and mainstream media hate that we adopted Bitcoin. Preach. Also be sharing the latest from the high priest Max Kaiser regarding the IMF and how he really feels. And we're also going to be discussing bullish price prediction of a Trump victory, sending the Bitcoin price parabolic to $1 million per coin, according to the what's your favorite magazine, guys? Bitcoin Magazine CEO and David Bailey. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. Anyways, welcome everyone just joining the stream. If you're new to the channel, very important to smash the likes. Go ahead and subscribe, then hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. And happy Friday. Pump day, baby. Yeah, as you know, this is pod episode 1777. I'm your host, JV, and it's October 4th. Welcome to October 2024. Bitcoin is up roughly 1,400 on the day, which is 2.25%, maintaining above 62.3. But let's check out Coin 360 with our market watch, and welcome anyone and everyone just joining the stream. Good to have you guys here. On Coin 360, we're sitting just above 62,400. We have AVAX up 6%, trading at 26 bucks. We got Ether back in the green, up 3%, trading above 2,400. We got Solana up 4%. XRP is even in the green. So most of the alts are in the green alongside Bitcoin. Checking out coinmarketcap.com. Current crypto market cap sits at a $2.17 trillion mark. The Bitcoin market cap is $1.23 trillion. We got 71 billion worth of volume at the past 24 hours. Volume down roughly 20% on the day. Bitcoin dominance 56.9%, with the Ether dominance 13.5%. How high will the Bitcoin Dom climb this cycle? Holla at your boy. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, we got Popcat up 19%, followed by FTT up 18%, followed by Beam up 14%. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for the bull? Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles, get a visual perspective. Let's start on the day. Safe to say, 90% of the market in the green. We like to see this. Oh my God. In fact, is that 100%? Do I see any red? Do you see any red? It might be 100%. It might virtually mean all the top coins are pumping right now. Wow. That's very rare. And checking out the monthly, 95% of the market in the red. I mean, in the green, only a handful in the red, which includes Monero. Believe it or not, Privacy Coin down 14.4%. What's up with that? AR down 9%, Maker down 12%, and Chill down 30%. Everything else crushing. Some of these alts literally up over 100%. Hex up 377%, for Christ's sake. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Today, we're rated a 41 fear. Yesterday, 37. Last week, a 61 greed. And last month, a 27 in fear. But let's continue. Let's dive into a little technical analysis. Also be pulling up the live charts as we do each and every day, yo. So yeah, October builds strength as Bitcoin held on exchanges, falls to 6-year lows. Can you say supply shock? Here you're looking at the daily chart. Bitcoin moved to an intraday high of 62.3 October 4th as stronger than expected jobs data for September and bullish on-chain metrics added tailwinds to the idea of a rally. in Q4 here live and in the flesh. The Bitcoin price action occurred as September's U.S. non-farm payrolls print came in at 254,000, significantly higher than the expected 147,000. The unemployment rate slid to 4.1% from 4.2% of September versus forecast for 4.2%. As a result, market participants have begun pricing in a whopping 97% possibility of a 25 basis point interest rate cut at the Fed's next meeting, November 7th, next month, following an aggressive half-point move in September, as per data from CME Group's FedWatch tool. That's right, they just recently cut rates by half a percentage point, and China did the same thing. Another possible driver behind the idea of an October and a fourth quarter rally for Bitcoin is the continued decrease in Bitcoin held on centralized exchanges. That's right. CryptoQuant suggests there are over 2.8 million BTC in total on centralized exchanges, the lowest number since November of 2018, and 500,000 less than the amount seen in March. Can you say supply shock? I mean, numbers don't lie. Bitcoin reserve on the exchanges indicates a number of the Bitcoins held in known exchange wallets. A low balance shows a decreased amount of available liquidity in some scenarios, is followed by bullish price movements. The data shows that the balance on the exchanges has plunged by 12% just in the past 6 months, while Bitcoin has been stuck in a wide range stretching from 50 thou to 72 thou. The drop in balances is relatively similar to that seen between March of 2020 in November of 2020, before Bitcoin embarked on an extended rally to the 2021 high of 69 Gs. If history repeats itself, the decline in Bitcoin reserve on the exchanges could be the precursor to Bitcoin price rising to new record highs. Price discovery in play, 73.8, the current price discovery achieved in mid-March. Another possible headwind for the Bitcoin as Q4 unfolds is increasing institutional demand through the US-based spot Bitcoin ETFs. Can you say institutional FOMO? Like a mofo. Additional data for CryptoQuant revealed institutional investors went from selling a net 5,000 BTC September 2nd to buying an average of 7,000 Bitcoin by the end of September. This is the highest daily purchase of these investment products since July 21st, when net buying was above 9,000 BTC. This demand boosted Bitcoin price to the current all-time high of 73.8 back in mid-March. So if this trend continues, prices may rise further. You can say that again in Q4 here, 2024. But before embarking on a much-awaited Q4 rally, crypto analyst Timothy Peterson believes Bitcoin price may first drop to rest the adoption curve at 57,000. So this analyst is saying 57 in play. Let me know if you agree, disagree. And before I pull up some of the live charts, here's some of the other breaking news. Bitwise files with the SEC for a Bitcoin and Treasuries rotation ETF. Here's what it says. The information in this prospectus is not complete and may change. So just FYI, subject to completion October 4th. That is today. But this is the post. Bitwise Trendwise Bitcoin Treasuries Rotation Strategy ETF. Bitwise Treasuries Bitcoin Strategy ETF. The fund is a series of the Bitwise Funds Trust and an ETF. The fund list of principally trades its shares on the NYSE ARCA. And then it says neither the US SEC nor the CFTC has approved or disapproved these securities or passed upon the accuracy or adequacy of this prospectus, but nonetheless, the prospectus has been dropped. And in other news, the Hawk2a girl, I've always liked this girl for some reason, but she says she was recently going viral for a rant about Bitcoiners not running their own nodes, quoting the Hawk2a girl. Using a Bitcoin wallet without connecting it to your own node may seem convenient, but it comes at a significant cost to your privacy and security. Every transaction made through someone else's node exposes your metadata, including your IP address and balances, which can be tracked, analyzed, and potentially exploited by corporations or state actors. She adds, by running your own node, you ensure that your activity remains private and that you're directly contributing to the resilience and robustness of the entire Bitcoin network. Sage advice coming from the Hawk2a girl. So Hawk2a, spit on that candle. Let's send this mofo to the moon, infinity and beyond. So thank you, Miss Hawk2a. And really good advice there to run a node. Let me know how many of you are actually running a node. And let's check out some of the live charts here, live and in the flesh. This is the 1 hour chart brought to you by TradingView via Coinbase. You can see some bullish momentum, baby. We do have a green target sitting at 63.1, roughly 1,000 up. And we also have this other bullish target in the red on the 1 hour chart sitting at 66,400. Let's send it. Let's go. And checking out the 4 hour chart, and we'll work our way backwards. The 4 hour chart, live and in the flesh, we do have a big blue target sitting north of 81,300. We do have a right shoulder breakout formation as well, and we do have a downside target in play at 52,900. On the 4-hour chart, checking out the 1-day, and again, live and in the flesh, family. The 1-day chart, we had those two big red candles, but it seems we're boosted back today, making our way back up. We do have some targets you need to be aware of, and we also have a rising wedge formation, but the bottom target in the pink is 47.7. And we do have a green target way below that, sitting all the way down at 40,400. And zooming out from there, we'll check out the 1 week chart, then the 1 month. The 1 week chart still has the sexy cup and handle pattern sitting at 124.2. I believe this target will likely most likely be hit sometime Q4. I don't know which particular month. It could be November, it could be December. We'll soon see. Will we get a Christmas rally? I don't know, but all I want for Christmas is a $100,000 biddy. Just saying. And checking out the 1 month chart, you can see we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sideways trading action after 7 consecutive green candles, making a stairway back up north. But let me know where you feel the monthly close for October will likely take us. I believe all-time highs in play. I think we'll hit above 73.8, potentially in the 80 range before the end of the month. But I want to know your thoughts. So holla at your boy. Let's do a little more analysis. This golden cross is on the horizon. Headline reads, Bitcoin analysis sees Bitcoin price gains on Coinbase Premium. Golden cross. Look at that. That's right. Bitcoin may see relief from its recent downturn as U.S. demand stays high. In one of the quick take blog posts, on-chain analytics platform CryptoQuant revealed the possibility of a short-term Bitcoin increase. Let's discuss the golden cross. Bitcoin price action delivers several tests of 60,000 support this week amid market jitters over the situation over in the Middle East. Behind the scenes, however, demand remains strong, as indicated by the popular Coinbase Premium metric. The Coinbase Premium measures the difference in pricing between Bitcoin and USD pair on the largest U.S. exchange, Coinbase, as well as Binance's BTC USDT equivalent. And I also saw in breaking news, it looks like Coinbase has to delist stable coins in the AI, which are not compliant with the new regulation, and they said including USDT, which is the largest stablecoin out there. Now, anyways, moving averages covering the size of the premium are in turn correlated with specific Bitcoin price behavior, as shown by CryptoQuant contributor Mr. Dent. We analyzed the Coinbase Premium Index on the 1-hour frame to observe short-term momentum, utilizing the 24-hour daily and the 168-hour weekly moving averages for added context. He also shares, historically, when the daily moving average forms the golden cross by crossing above the weekly moving average with strong momentum, we observe significant price movements shortly after that. Could this be a deja vu moment? We're going to get a big parabolic run up. Holla. Such a golden cross scenario last occurred late last month, capturing the Bitcoin move above 66 Gs. He also added, despite the price correction from 66 to approximately 61 at around October 1st, the continued rise in demand from the U.S.-based investors suggests renewed upwards pressure. He concluded, this consistent demand, as reflected by the Coinbase Premium, could signal a potential short-term recovery in the Bitcoin price. Meanwhile, Coinbase seen a positive premium over the Binance return in the recent weeks, an encouraging signal for the Bitcoin price performance. And analyzing the Coinbase Flow Pulse tool, which measures shifts into Coinbase from other trading platforms, Axel Adler reached similar conclusions on the price outlook, quoting the analyst here. The Bitcoin inflow to Coinbase from all the exchanges remains in the green zone, indicating strong demand for coins in the U.S. market. Despite the local pullback, the bullish trend persists. Let's continue with the news. Let's discuss this BTFD alert. Headline here reads, buying this Bitcoin dip is a no-brainer. According to the hedge fund manager, well, buying the dip is always a no-brainer. We stack the sats accordingly. Bitcoin 6% drop since September 30th should have been seen as an opportunity for investors to stack more of the biddy, says Quinn Thompson, chief investment officer over at Lecker Capital. On an October 3rd post, Thompson said buying the Bitcoin in its current price range of 61 Gs is a no-brainer, adding that the macro backdrop of the price action for the crypto asset has changed significantly compared with the past price drops, as he shares here on X. I don't usually give very short-term views, but seems like a no-brainer to be bidding this area with clear invalidation on the back of the 180-degree shift and the macro backdrop from the relative to the three previous similar setups. He attached the chart of the Bitcoin price from March 5th this year when Bitcoin notched a new all-time high of 73.8-ish. Thompson highlighted three previous similar setups in which the price Bitcoin plummeted and subsequently tumbled well below the 200-day moving average, which is a key technical indicator used by traders to gauge the midterm strength of certain assets. This time, however, Bitcoin bounced sharply off the technical level, which Thompson said showed a clear invalidation on the back of the 180-degree shift into the macro backdrop, hinting that the Bitcoin prices may soon swing upwards. Quoting him again, I don't usually give very short-term views, but seems like a no-brainer to be bidding this area. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analyst. An escalate in geopolitical tensions in the Middle East spooked markets earlier this week, with risk assets like Bitcoin selling off sharply as Iran took military action against Israel, and growing concerns over the strength of the U.S. economy and uncertainty around the outcome of the U.S. election November 5th, 1 month out. Literally 1 month and 1 day, has also weighed in on risk assets. Meanwhile, mentions of October, a nickname given to October for its historically bullish crypto price action, have plummeted across social media as markets continue to pull back. And in line with Thompson, other analysts say the lack of the recent optimism presents an opportunity for a short-term bounce. Come on, bounce. Quoting another analyst from Sentiment, October excitement wanes as the market dips, which does open a door for the rebound. Whether the bigger downtrend is over remains yet to be seen. And while October has historically been a strong month for returns, with an average gain of over 20% in the last 11 years, most of the gains happen later in the month. So we're still early, family. And in the first half of October 2023, Bitcoin fell 7% to 26,650, but surged almost 30% in 2 weeks to close the month. So we typically have a strong final 2 weeks of the month. First 2 weeks, not always historically bullish, but we usually ended out very bullish. And we rose to 34.5, leading some of the traders to entertain the possibility of a sharp move upward later in the month. Next story of the day, let's discuss FDIMF. We gonna be okay. Yeah, in El Salvador, freedom reigns. BTC, tax-free from gains, 100K. Bitcoin, babe, 100K. 6 figs all day. You know how we do. I'm getting pretty lit now. You guys got me excited. Can you tell? Headline reads, I just see the three letters, the IMF, I get excited and I start rapping. IMF pressures El Salvador to overhaul Bitcoin regulations. And you know the jam we're talking about. I did a collaboration on a El Salvador Jammy Jam with Chandy, and one of my verses is F the IMF, and I repeat F the IMF like a dozen times. So, yeah, I mean, it's programmed into the unconscious here. But anyways, during an October 3rd press conference, the IMF renewed calls pressuring El Salvador to scale back its Bitcoin policies and overhaul its regulatory framework. Surrounding the biddy, we have Julie Kozak, director of the IMF Communication Department, did not specify the exact details behind the proposed regulatory shift, but instead provided this statement. This is according to Julie. What we have recommended is a narrowing of the scope of the Bitcoin law, strengthening the regulatory framework and oversight of the Bitcoin ecosystem, and limiting the public sector exposure to the Bitcoin. And since El Salvador legalized the BIDI as a formal legal tender in 2021, the IMF has pressured the Central American country to step away from the Bitcoin and embrace traditional finance infrastructure. No thank you, IMF. We gonna be okay, because in El Salvador, freedom reigns. You feel me? In August of 2024, the IMF voiced the same demands, but admitted that many of the purported risks of Bitcoin adoption have not yet materialized. Here's their attitude to Bitcoin and crypto. The IMF expressed concerns regarding the BIDI, as some fiat currencies experienced devaluation. Certain individuals in a few nation states have begun exploring alternatives, including Bitcoin, which is often viewed as offering a different monetary framework compared to the traditional fiat systems. And I'll tell you the obvious, the IMF fears Bitcoin. Central banks fear Bitcoin. That's why they hate it. They know it's going to make them obsolete. They know it's perfect money. They know it's the money of the people, and they hate it. They despise it. They're trying to destroy it, clearly. But anyways, in 2023, the IMF provided technical consulting to help Andorra record and monitor Bitcoin transactions. Later in March of 2024, it suggested Pakistan institute a capital gains tax on crypto to qualify for a $3 billion loan. And more recently, IMF execs floated the idea of taxing energy used for crypto mining to to reduce carbon emissions. Boo! We all know that FUD. This added tax could drive up energy costs for miners by 85%. Potentially, see, everything they do is an attack against Bitcoin, the same way they attack El Salvador. I'm telling you, it's because Bitcoin severs the heads from the central banking cartel and the lizard people. Just saying. IMF pushes central bank digital currencies. Not cool. Not a good look. We don't want CBDCs. And they know Bitcoin is the antidote to the CBDC. Mark my words. While the IMF continues to oppose the Bitcoin and non-state controlled cryptocurrencies, it is simultaneously pushing for CBDCs globally. Yeah, not shocked there. This past September, the IMF released the REDI framework for the CBDC development. The acronym stands for Regulation, Education, Design, and Incentives, geared towards helping central banks make CBDC adoption more palatable to prospective populations. No, thank you. Just say no to the IMF. Just say no to the CBDCs. Just say no to crack. That goes to you too, Hunter Biden. Next story. Here's the latest with El Salvador. The headline reads, Bukele advises Argentine vice president on Bitcoin and volcano bonds. And there's a lot of other interesting things regarding, IMF and Bukele El Salvador. I'm going to read you from X, and then we'll dive deeper into the story. Bukele is quoted saying here, the IMF, World Bank, Federal Reserve, and mainstream media hate that we adopted Bitcoin. 100% spot on, Bukele. And Salvador Amas says Bitcoin has a lot of amazing features, but one of my favorites is that it completely obsoletes the IMF. 100. Preach! Shout out Salvador Amas, author of the Bitcoin Standard. And even Max Kaiser wrote here, the IMF's SDR is crashing. Against Bitcoin, the crash looks much worse. The more Bitcoin El Salvador buys, the quicker we euthanize the central bank. Neo-colonial flaming dumpster fire. Preach, Max. Thank you for sharing that. So true. He also wrote, Dear IMF, go F yourself. Go F yourself, IMF. My sentiment, precisely, that's what inspired me to write that verse called F the IMF. Thanks to Max Kaiser. I love that guy. And David Bailey, we'll get into that prediction here in a bit. I don't want to jump the gun, but let's dive deeper into Bukele advising Argentine vice president on the Bitcoin and volcano bonds. That's right. El Salvador and Bukele working together. Let's freaking go. Argentine senators and executives are very interested in Bitcoin. During the official visit to Argentina, El Salvador President Bukele met with a group of national senators and the country's vice president who touched on the crypto subject. You're damn straight. While the discussion was private, a video before the meeting shows Argentine Vice President Victoria inquiring about the Salvadoran experience in the field of the biddy, having already several years of approving the crypto as legal tender. Here's what she stated. I personally want to use these short minutes to talk to you about Bitcoin. It's something that interests me a lot. I love it. Furthermore, she showed interest in the so-called volcano bonds, which have been on hold for several years, inspired by Max Kaiser. Bukele proposed these bonds as part of the financing scheme of the still-to-be-constructed Bitcoin City, the Bitcoin Mecca, the Bitcoin Citadel, Bitcoin Camelot, a Bitcoin-centric metropolis announced back in 2021. And I'm actually going to be visiting El Salvador in January, family. Let me know if you guys are going to be there. After the meeting, she also confirmed that crypto regulation had also been discussed during the encounter. We were able to talk about the implementation of the Bitcoin and creation of the CNAD, which is the National Commission of Digital Assets, which is the first body that provides legal framework and regulation of crypto assets, she disclosed on social media. And a part of the visit, Bukele also met Milei, President Milei, that is, to examine topics such as the issuance of zero-deficit budgets, security plans, and politics. Nonetheless, Bitcoin was not included in the agenda. While Milei had not declared clearly in favor of the Bitcoin, he has stated that in the future, anyone will be able to use Bitcoin as part of the currency competition plan he envisions. Other currencies can also be leveraged as part of this proposal. So there you go, yo. Let me know your thoughts with adoption coming potentially from Argentina. Now that Bukele is orange pilling someone right here. That's pretty big news. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll read those out loud here. Now for our feature story of the day. Let's discuss this $1 million Bitcoin price prediction off the back of a Trump victory. According to the Bitcoin Magazine CEO, he just recently posted this. I'm going to read you this post, but first I also want to read you this headline. which we're going to be discussing Bitcoin. Will it ever hit $1 million? But let's start with David Bailey's post right here. Again, the CEO of Bitcoin Magazine. He was the one who actually orchestrated Trump to speak at the Nashville event. So clearly, this guy is pretty smart. But anyways, he says, Trump is going to win. We are going to free Ross. Referring to Ross Ulbricht, who's currently facing like 2 life sentences. Trump did say he would free or pardon Ross Ulbricht day one on the job alongside firing Gary Gensler. If you'd like to see that, let me know in the chat, fam. He also wrote, the Bitcoin cabinet will be appointed. And referring for the Bitcoin cabinet for the United States of America, clearly. The strategic reserve will be established. Let's go. Trump said they would not sell any of the Bitcoin. And then other nations will follow. Nation state adoption, game theory, full effect. Let's freaking go. And then one Bitcoin will be worth $1 million plus. Can you say 7 figures? Let's skip 6 figures and 10x it right to 7 figures. What do you guys got to say about that? Economic growth booms globally, and the American dream thrives for generations to come. That's right. Trump said he'd make Bitcoin a mining hub. He'd make America a Bitcoin mining hub if he is elected president. Let me know who you think will win. Will it be Harris? Will it be Trump? Holla. I mean, we only got 1 month and 1 day out. Manifest destiny. And ultimately, let me know if you agree with this prediction from David Bailey. And let's dive a little deeper into this particular story regarding Bitcoin and $1 million per coin, the market cap implications, scale, etc., etc. So if Bitcoin were to reach the valuation, and let me make sure you guys can read this, you can see the bulk of it, so you're good. $1 million per unit, its market cap would soar to 21 trillion. Interesting that we have a max supply of 21 million coin. Imagine that. This ain't Doge. We don't have 21 trillion coins. But anyways, also I want to speculate here. There's probably 5 or 6 million coins lost or stagnant on the Bitcoin blockchain forever, making Bitcoin that much more scarce and making your Bitcoin worth that much more. Let that sink in. Satoshi has roughly 1.1 million Bitcoin. A lot of early Bitcoiners lost them in boating accidents. You know how it is. Lost them in old laptops like Alex Jones claims, etc. So there's a lot of lost Bitcoin, which makes it that much even scarcer. Now, this would position Bitcoin's market cap greater than the GDP of most countries at 21 trillion, surpassing the GDP of most countries of the world, including major economies like Germany, the UK, Japan. It would also position Bitcoin's market cap just behind the GDP of the US, which is currently at 23 trillion. Crazy, right? And higher than the total market cap of the alphabet corporations we refer to as Facebook, now Meta, Amazon, Apple, Netflix. That's worth 7 trillion, and on par with the global real estate market, which is currently 280 trillion. Bitcoin's 21 trillion market cap would represent 7.5% of that total value of the real estate worldwide, illustrating significant impact on global asset distribution, and larger than the total market cap of all cryptos. Right now, the total crypto market cap is only like 2.2 trillion. So absolutely. Now for the massive scale of Bitcoin to hit $1 million. Economic impact of 21 trillion market cap would signify that Bitcoin has become a major asset class. Clearly, it's ultimately, if we're only at 1 trillion today, it's roughly 20x where we're at, potentially influencing global economic policies and financial systems. And we have a lot of room to grow. The total addressable market, I've heard projections anywhere from $700 to $900 trillion. Also, an investment shift. Traditional assets like stocks, bonds, and real estate might see a reallocation of capital towards Bitcoin. Absolutely. It's all going to zero against the biddy. And also the global influence. Bitcoin could become the cornerstone of the global financial system. Heck, it could even become a global world reserve currency. And Bitcoin could hit 8 figures. Imagine a $10 million Bitcoin. Well, Michael Saylor believes it's going to happen, and I believe Michael Saylor. Let me know your thoughts. And now charting Bitcoin to $1 million. As you can see on the chart, before looking at the Bitcoin 1 million chart, let's look at the predictions by reputable experts. Conclusion, the path for Bitcoin to hit $1 million is well beyond consensus predictions. However, we do have the predictions from the likes of Cathie Wood of ARK Invest, projecting a bull scenario of over 3 million per Bitcoin by 2030. Even her base case and bear case are extremely, bullish. So let's discuss some of these forecasts. For now, Bitcoin to hit $1 million would be completely off the chart, literally below its weekly chart, highlighting where Bitcoin at $1 million comes in. Obviously, it wouldn't even fit on the chart. Yeah, I mean, we also have projections. I know them offhand, so instead of reading any articles, let me just chat it up with you guys. Samson Mao, Jan 3 founder. He was also featured in the recent documentary on who Satoshi is that was just recently released. I forget. I don't know if that's an HBO thing or Netflix thing, but I see a lot of controversy around it. But Samson Mao believes that we can hit $1 million this cycle, right? Which would ultimately mean if not this year, then by next year. Bitcoin has no top as fiat has no bottom. We also have bullish predictions from Tom Lee, which I have covered here on the podcast. I think he's projecting, he was projecting at 1.25 million for this cycle. I don't know the latest updates on that one, but we also have, Max Kaiser, clearly always very bullish on the BTC as well. He has a lot of different, predictions, different ranges. Then we also have the likes BlackRock, Larry Fink buying like there's no tomorrow. The Bitcoin ETFs have unprecedented volume, breaking all history of ETFs to ever exist. And Bitcoin ETF just went live literally in January. So we have the institutional FOMO like a mofo. That's something which was non-existent in the previous cycle. Previous cycle that drove up to 69 Gs back in was it November of 2021? That was primarily driven off the retail. I don't even think the retail is going to join the party until we're price discovery once again. Yeah, probably in the $80,000 to $100,000 range. That's when people like to get involved. But you guys, let me know your thoughts. Do you think David Bailey's $1 million price projection is accurate with Trump in office? Hypothetically speaking, if Trump, the Bitcoiner side, wins the election, because we know Kamala is anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto, employing the likes of Gary Gensler, Senator Warren, and who's the other one? Miss Binance, Miss Yellen. Do you think Trump, the pro-Bitcoin party, will win, pro-crypto party, or do you think the anti-crypto party, we refer to as the Democrats, will win? And if, hypothetically, Trump does get the victory, will that send Bitcoin eventually to $1 million as the United States of America stockpiles the BTC and continues accumulating? I wish they do what RFK proposed and buy 400 Bitcoin a day until they got 4 million Bitcoin. Imagine that. Strategic reserves, global reserve asset, future's looking pretty bright. Dollar mathematically guaranteed to decrease your purchasing power. Bitcoin mathematically guaranteed to increase your purchasing power. That's why we save in Bitcoin. And those who treat fiat as a store of value, you know what you call them, folks.
But most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit.
You already know.